What if power meant saying nothing? What if power didn't come from what you said, but from what you didn't say? Toxic people thrive on chaos. They provoke, they poke, they test your limits just to pull you into their storm. And most people, they fall for it. They defend themselves, they argue, they try to prove their worth to someone who never deserved their energy. But a Stoic? They do something different. They don't fight, they don't flinch, they don't give the reaction that toxic people are addicted to, because silence, used at the right moment, isn't weakness, it's domination. Without shouting, without fighting, without even raising an eyebrow. It's not about being passive, it's about being untouchable. And in today's video, you're going to learn exactly how to use Stoic strategy to make toxic people lose control, without ever losing yours. Why Stoics never fight for control. We've all been there. Someone tries to get under your skin. A passive-aggressive comment, a guilt trip, a manipulative outburst, or a cold, calculated silence. And your first instinct is to defend yourself, to explain, to prove you're right, to fight for control of the moment. But here's the Stoic truth. If you're fighting for control, you've already lost it. Toxic people want your emotional reaction. They feed on it, because every time you flinch, argue, or over-explain, you confirm their power over you. But the Stoics, they knew better. Marcus Aurelius, a man surrounded by betrayal, politics, and whispers, never chased validation, never argued to be heard. He wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion." That's not avoidance, that's precision, that's self-mastery. Because here's what toxic people can't stand: when you don't engage, when you don't react, when they realize they can't touch your peace. And that's the core of this video, not how to fight toxic people, but how to outsmart them using 6 Stoic strategies that keep you calm, controlled, and completely untouchable. These aren't just coping tools, they're tactics used by people who never let chaos define their character. Let's break them down, one by one. 1. The control gap. If it's not yours, don't hold it toxic. People throw things at you: guilt, blame, accusation, all carefully designed to do one thing: hook you, because the moment you bite, you're not calm anymore, you're reactive, you're in their frame, and that's exactly what they want. But a Stoic doesn't grab what doesn't belong to him. Someone lashes out, pause, breathe, and mentally draw a line. That's theirs, not mine. That's the control gap. The ability to see something flying toward you and not catch it. Think of it like this. They hand you a burning coal, hoping you'll hold it long enough to feel pain. But you don't even touch it. You let it fall. This is psychological discipline. Not reacting isn't passive. It's power restraint. In a world addicted to over-explanation and emotional spirals, a man who says nothing, who doesn't respond to bait, is unreadable, and that makes him dangerous. Because he's not fighting for control, he already has it. Marcus Aurelius didn't just preach detachment, he ruled through it. While the court was full of betrayal, he wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion." No opinion means no entry point, no emotional handle for them to grip. So next time someone comes swinging, don't swing back, don't explain, don't justify. Just ask yourself, am I reacting or reclaiming? Because the strongest move is not a louder voice. It's a man who keeps his peace while everyone else loses theirs. 2. Emotional starvation. Don't give them their drug. Here's something most people never realize. Toxic people aren't always after truth. They're after tension. They don't argue to resolve, they argue to energize themselves by draining you. That's the hidden economy of manipulation. Your reaction is their paycheck. And the more intense your emotion, the richer they feel. They'll bait you with guilt, hit you with half-truths, twist your words until you don't recognize yourself. And the moment you defend, justify, or explode, they've won. Not because they were right, but because they controlled your state. This is where Stoic power flips the dynamic. The Stoic doesn't just stay calm, he becomes invisible to the game. He withholds what the toxic person came for, emotion. Marcus Aurelius never wrote long rebuttals to his enemies. Seneca didn't clap back at every critic. Why? Because they mastered the principle of emotional starvation. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You don't become cold, you become calculated. Let's make it practical. When someone texts you something charged, pause. Don't reply emotionally. Maybe don't reply at all. Let your silence reframe the power. When someone raises their voice in a meeting, don't match them. Keep your tone low. Let their volume look unhinged against your calm. When someone weaponizes their sadness or rage, don't absorb it, see it, acknowledge it, but don't feed it, because every time you don't react, you interrupt their loop. You introduce friction into their manipulation system, and over time, you become too expensive to provoke. Here's your Stoic affirmation: not everything deserves my energy. Not every attack earns a response, and not every invitation to chaos needs an RSVP. Emotional starvation is not cruelty. It's clarity. It's protecting your peace. And it's showing toxic people something they never expect, that they no longer have access to you. That's not passive. That's tactical. 3. The mirror technique. Let them face themselves. Toxic people crave control, but not through force. They use emotional leverage. They study your reactions. They test your triggers. They calculate your insecurities, not to know you, but to maneuver you. And when you bite the bait, when you defend, explain, overreact, you hand them the script. You confirm exactly who they can manipulate and how to do it again. But here's the Stoic strategy. Don't push back. Don't play along. Just mirror. It's called the mirror technique, and it's devastating because it forces toxic people to face the one thing they run from most: themselves. Here's how it works. When someone lies, don't correct them. Repeat their words back with a calm, neutral tone. So you're saying I did that intentionally. Then silence. Let their own manipulation hang in the air. When someone makes a scene, don't argue, stay still, hold eye contact, and let the contrast between your composure and their chaos embarrass them without a word. Why is this powerful? Because most toxic people operate through emotional projection. They try to make you feel what they can't face: guilt, shame, insecurity, fear. But when you mirror their behavior back, without anger, without agreement, you create psychological resistance. They start to see their reflection in your silence, and that makes them deeply uncomfortable. It's like showing someone their own tantrum on a screen. They either shrink or self-destruct. This isn't sarcasm. It's not mockery. It's Stoic resistance, letting their energy bounce back to its source while you remain unmoved. Think of it like this. You don't block their blow. You let them punch a mirror and deal with the shards. Because when you don't attack and you don't retreat, but simply reflect, you force them into a confrontation they never prepared for, a confrontation with themselves. That's not just silence, that's strategy, and it hits harder than any word you could have said. 4. Strategic absence. Withdraw. energy, not just presence. Most people think cutting off toxic people means disappearing, leaving the room, blocking the number, ending the contact. But Stoics know physical absence isn't always possible. Energetic absence is the real power. You might still live with them, work with them, see them at family events. But here's the twist. You can still be in the same room and be completely unavailable to their drama. That's strategic absence. It means this: your presence is there, but your energy is not. You don't react, you don't explain, you don't engage on the frequency they're operating on. It's like watching someone shout underwater. You see their mouth move, but it never touches your mind. This is psychological invisibility. And to a toxic person, it's terrifying, because they feel your body, but they can't reach you. And when they can't reach you, they can't feed off you. Here's how it works in real time. When they throw shade in a group, you hear it, you register it, but you don't rise, you don't even change your tone, you redirect. When they demand your attention with emotional outbursts, you stay neutral, not rude, not reactive, just unavailable. When they try to bait you with guilt or blame, you respond with stillness, a short reply, no defense, then silence. You are there, but you're not available. That's the Stoic discipline, choosing where your energy goes, and more importantly, where it doesn't. Because here's the truth: you don't owe your full presence to people who can't respect your peace. And when they realize you no longer flinch, no longer chase, no longer need to be understood, they lose access. And without access, they lose control. This is not emotional detachment out of coldness, it's strategic separation. It's saying, you no longer have the keys to my attention. You can still be in their world without letting them into yours. That's how Stoics disappear, while standing right in front of you. 4. Strategic absence. Withdraw energy, not just presence. Most people think cutting off toxic people means disappearing, leaving the room, blocking the number, ending the contact. But Stoics know physical absence isn't always possible. Energetic absence is the real power. You might still live with them, work with them, see them at family events. But here's the twist: you can still be in the same room and be completely unavailable to their drama. That's strategic absence. It means this: your presence is there, but your energy is not. You don't react, you don't explain, you don't engage on the frequency they're operating on. It's like watching someone shout underwater. You see their mouth move, but it never touches your mind. This is psychological invisibility. And to a toxic person, it's terrifying, because they feel your body, but they can't reach you. And when they can't reach you, they can't feed off you. Here's how it works in real time. When they throw shade in a group, you hear it, you register it, but you don't rise, you don't even change your tone, you redirect. When they demand your attention with emotional outbursts, you stay neutral, not rude, not reactive, just unavailable. When they try to bait you with guilt or blame, you respond with stillness, a short reply, no defense, then silence. You are there, but you're not available. That's the Stoic discipline, choosing where your energy goes, and more importantly, where it doesn't. Because here's the truth: you don't owe your full presence to people who can't respect your peace. And when they realize you no longer flinch, no longer chase, no longer need to be understood, they lose access. And without access, they lose control. This is not emotional detachment out of coldness, it's strategic separation. It's saying, you no longer have the keys to my attention. You can still be in their world without letting them into yours. That's how Stoics disappear, while standing right in front of you. 6. Pre-toxic ritual. Mentally rehearse the encounter. You wouldn't walk into battle without armor, without a strategy, without knowing your enemy. So why do we walk into life completely unprepared for toxic people? Marcus Aurelius didn't. He started each morning with a mental rehearsal. Today you will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Not as a complaint, but as a preparation. That's the pre-toxic ritual, and it's one of the most powerful Stoic disciplines you'll ever adopt. Because here's the truth. Most people don't get hurt by toxic people. They get hurt by the surprise of encountering them. They expected grace and got manipulation. They expected honesty and got games. They expected peace and got passive aggression. And when your expectations are soft, you fall hard. The Stoic flips that. They rehearse discomfort. They expect conflict. They walk into the day preloaded with worst-case scenarios, not to live in fear, but to walk through fire unshaken. Here's how to practice it. Each morning, take 2 minutes. Close your eyes and say, "Today, someone will disrespect me. Someone will twist my words. Someone will try to provoke me, and none of it will define me." Then visualize it. See yourself receiving the insult and not reacting, hearing the manipulation and staying calm, being baited and walking away with clarity. Because by the time it happens, your nervous system has already rehearsed neutrality. You've already faced the moment, internally. So when it arrives in real life, you meet it not as a victim, but as someone who already chose their state. This is Stoic immunity, mental armor forged in the early hours. Before the world touches you, you root yourself in stillness. Today, someone will try to pull me into chaos, but I am trained, I am prepared, and I no longer break when they push. That's not positive thinking. That's psychological warfare. Won before the battle begins. Win without engaging. You don't defeat toxic people by out-yelling them. You don't win by proving your point. And you definitely don't win by reacting on their terms. You win by becoming unreachable. That's the Stoic strategy. Calm dominance, silent control, strategic stillness. Let's recap the 6 tactics that turn emotional chaos into your battlefield advantage. 1. The control gap. Filter. What's yours to carry? 2. Emotional starvation. Starve their need for reaction. 3. The mirror technique. Reflect their behavior without absorbing it. 4. Strategic absence. Be present but unavailable. 5. Hard silence. Let your boundaries speak louder than words. 6. Pre-toxic ritual. Prepare your mindset before the battle begins. These aren't defense mechanisms. They're offensive moves disguised as restraint. Because true power isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need to win the moment. It wins the long game by staying calm. While everyone else self-destructs trying to get a reaction from you. So if this resonated with you, and you want to master the next level of quiet control, check out this next video. How to control any room without saying a word, the Stoic presence strategy. It's not about being liked, it's about being unshakable. Watch it now, and become the kind of person that toxic people can no longer reach.